And we've heard about America. Now we're going to shift to India with a presentation from ISKCON Silicon Valley in the person of Damodara Vamsidhari Prabhu. And welcome him here. You want to introduce him? You want to introduce him?
He needs no introduction. Everybody knows of his qualities, the wonderful achievements that they've accomplished in the Silicon Valley area, and his own personal charm. We welcome you and we thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. And this is a very serious topic, and typically people say that they need results. It takes around 45 to 50 years for the effects of Varnashram to settle in. At least you need first generation to start it, the second generation to take the principles and then expand it, and the third generation typically to take it and instill it so that there is no confusion from that time onwards. Yeah. So it's not going to happen like this. Yeah. And it's very important for us to understand it's actually confirmed by Shri Rukmini Dwarikashi correct? It's going to take time, but we are on a right path. What I have tried to do in today's conversation is talk about what was Srila Prabhupada's vision of when he mentioned that, you know, I have 50% left. I've tried to put together something for, you know, we all can appreciate. I am actually presenting this by accident. I'm not at all closer to cows. I have been favorable, and I have invested on projects which are favorable to cows. But in my, you know, I find myself pretty weak and need all blessings to get more love for the cows and to do more for Srila Prabhupada Varnashram mission. Yeah. So here, if you think, we are assembled here to honor Srila Prabhupada's vision of simple living and high thinking. Yeah, Prabhu. So, Srila Prabhupada not only gave us cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole 9 cantos of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Bhagavad Gita, all the scriptures which we talked about. Srila Prabhupada also, besides of scriptural knowledge, gave a way of living society. Yeah. He taught us as to how to live closer to land, closer to cows, closer to community, and that will give closer to Krishna. And he made lot of quotes. One of the quotes of Srila Prabhupada is around here. Yeah, he promoted all of us, whether living in villages or in cities, to kind of make their life little simple. Take more time for devotional service. Yeah. Life, as you know, is getting complicated step by step. So it brings up all together, and there are a lot of progress getting done, like Gita Nagari, New Vrindavan. I am a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, and there are a lot of projects which His Holiness is pushing through. I am a very insignificant servant, trying to do something and contribute towards him. There are 3 leaders under Maharaj. Sabhe Sachi Prabhu, he has been instrumental in Nandagram, Bhaktigram, various successful projects. Very, very dedicated disciples of Maharaj who are taking this very, very seriously. I visited those farms personally myself. Gokul Chand Prabhu is with ISKCON Salem and Panchavati farm, and His Grace Keshavanand Prabhu. Actually, my journey in Krishna consciousness started with Dr. Keshavanand Prabhu. He was the first one I met, and he is taking care of Badrik Ashram. So what Prabhupada has mentioned is book distribution on farms are solid program. I think good progress is made on books. I think similar progress is in works for farms, but still more love and attention needs to be there. Go ahead, Prabhuji. And then these are the villages already in making. As I mentioned, the leaders here, some of the projects from Gujarat to Czech Republic, all the way from Tamil Nadu to Punjab. These are projects which are already in action. I can talk about, say, for example, Nandagram. More than 15 families are living in a ashram. It's around 40 acres of land. They grow their own food. They have around 21 cows. They do not have electricity. They try to live a, exactly simple living, high thinking. And though there are austerities, Gurukul is also there, but devotees are trying to take what it takes to make this unfinished agenda, or what Prabhupada said, make it a reality. Similarly, there are Bhakti Gram, it's closer to Bhopal. That's where, when we start getting into our Amrita Dravya Foundation started. Yeah? Prabhu, you can go next. So these are all villages in making, and then actually sometimes people think that is a rural life a backward place. Actually it is not. It's actually the most advanced way of making your mind peaceful and to get everything in a very peaceful way from a whole community around you. So if you look at what is happening in a typical Indian village, you will find that Tulsi will be still there in the courtyard. Like this is happening from generation. It's not that new thing like someone is just starting. The cow is called a mother or Gomata. Everybody knows about it. There are panchayats, so there are governance structure in forms of village panchayat. There is a sarpanch, and they try to monitor the various activities which are there. And these are working even now today. There is a Dainik Panchang, or the calendar, where it tells when is Ekadasi and all. We sometimes struggle to get a calendar invite for when is the Ekadasi, when is the Parayan terms, but these people have been following it for ages, not thousands, many years before. Yeah, and there used to be a concept of joint family. Unfortunately, now, because there were two kinds of wealth. One was the number of people in the family, and the second was the number of livestock you have. Yeah, even when we sing, go Nanda, go Dhana, Rakhwala. Yeah, so our family business is what? Software engineering? Huh? Making bridges? What is our family business? Goraksha, protecting cows. Krishna used to go, when he was 6, he used to take care of the smaller cows and later bigger cows. Yeah? What he was doing from morning? Go to take cows. Balram Krishna used to go. Yeah? Govardhan, feeding the cows and return back. Okay? And then even Jesus Christ, he was a shepherd. Yeah? So this is our family business. And then Srila Prabhupada added book distribution. Yeah? So our two family businesses are cows and distributing books and reading also. Yeah? So what you distribute, you should read. So my point was that these are all, the world is searching for eco-village, this, that and all, but this was a default setting which was there in each village in earlier time. Yeah? So what we are trying to do is we are not trying to introduce any new lifestyle. This is the heritage which continued, and we are asking to revive. Prabhu, you go next slide. Yeah? And just from a statistical, how big is the opportunity, correct? Because if you are looking for how big this opportunity is for us, so we are talking in India itself close to around 640,000 villages, where more than 900 million human souls are living as of now in villages. That's like the combination of North America, Europe combined together. That's the kind of devotee potential which is available right now if we focus on these kinds of projects. The place where we are focusing on, just like you have a state like California in North America, there's a state called Madhya Pradesh in India. And there's a district called Vidisha, where I'll introduce what we are doing in that place. So in Madhya Pradesh itself, close to 54,000 villages are there, and the population is close to 52 million. So what I want to give a message is that there is, when we are talking about every town and village, there are innovative ways where we have to approach these living souls and bring them to Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So the opportunity is very large. And then, Prabhu, go next. Yeah. And then this heritage which needs to be preserved is under a lot of attack right now. What are those attacks? You can see that today, the way earlier education was done, like everybody knew, even the son of a cobbler, son of a, what you call now, barber, everybody used to go to gurukuls, yeah? Or sometimes barber need not continue after a certain area and start helping their father, correct? So the whole Gurukul system is systematically destroyed. We started removed cows from the ecosystem. What it then created the need of pesticides, fertilizers. So this whole cow economic was systematically step by step erased. Then village commons. So this is very important. That's there's a lady who got the Nobel Prize for that. Do you know 35% of India land is actually commons? Let me define what is common. Commons are things like, say for example, road, the village pond, the forest, the land for grazing of cows. Earlier, there were land reserved for grazing of cows. So because there will be enough grass, you let the cow go and fed by themselves. This is not like tying the cows together at any given place. I'll tell you what we have tried to do with those opportunities. The commons are not getting taken care of it. What it does is then, there are water shortages, there are no, proper keep of forestry, grasslands are not maintained. So what happens is then, farmers or the villagers have to depend on external fodder rather than getting it naturally free from the land. These are fundamental shift in problems which have happened where nobody has looked into it. And there are government schemes which you can actually harness, and some of the things I'll talk towards later part of the presentation. We have to tax our brain, and we don't have to buy everything. We can be asset light and still get a lot of things out. Yeah, that's where I wanted to mention. And then, because life gets difficult in staying in village, youths move from village, leaving a 20 acres parental farm rather than driving an auto rickshaw in a city of Mumbai or Pune. That's the reality which happens. And the same, so there's a lot of migration from rural areas to village, which is actually, Srila Prabhupada didn't wanted that. If we'll see it later, Prabhupada wanted wherever you are, you organize your life in a very nice way and do your Krishna Katha and do your Japa and Kirtan and tell people about Krishna. Correct? That's what Srila Prabhupada way. Wherever you are, you make the life simple around, don't complicate things around it. Yeah. And even when all these attacks have happened, my dear friends, one good news is that because the ecosystem is not man-made, it is one ashram is coming from Krishna. Still, if you go to the village, you will find a tulsi in the courtyard. You will find cow still getting called as a mother. You will still find that puja is happening at the dawn. Everybody at least will put a ghee lamp at the outside of the home or near Tulasi. Yeah, village elders still talk about Ramayana and Gita. Yeah, so even when all these attacks are happening, it is getting much weaker, but there is still traces left, and we can give a good CPR on that. Yeah, move to the next slide. Yeah. So this is what Srila Prabhupada tried to do. There are villages, and then he tried to create models in the West in terms of New Vrindavan, New Mayapur, Gita Nagari. We had a wonderful presentation from Prabhuji. And what we are trying to put together is that the root was, and actually we all believe in Bhagavatam. All these areas were also at some point of time under the rule of Vedic culture. Somehow the Vedic culture got eroded. You see still, like I was talking to Prabhu, in Brazil there's a lot of Vedic culture still around, correct? So the culture is lost, but we need to re-spiritualize the human civilization. This becomes a very important aspect of how to make it centric around cow products, etc. We can go forward, Prabhuji. And now, this was more of what is the problem, correct? But we need to talk about how do we solve it. What we realized was, there is a program where we are trying to distribute books in the village. We are calling it Gram Vidya Dan. And what we realized was when our book distributors went village by village, what they found was that all these things which were, happening in the villages, they were under attack. As I mentioned, the ancient craft were dying. So there was like people who are doing pottery or some artisan work or handloom industry. These are all going down because of the way of mass production. they needed some kind of assistance. They needed a buying, selling ecosystem because that is eroding. We see that there is a whole lot of new crisis coming in. Young people leaving for cities. So when we went and saw that, we said, hey, this is an ideal, but this is something which is actually totally going wrong. And as you all are assembled together exactly like the sages of Naimisharanya sat, saying that, hey, Kali Yuga is coming, what is the solution? And then more than 80 people are here trying to brainstorm and figure out what the solution is. That's what my team also sit together. Shall we now see that these things are broken and run away, or can we do something? So that's my next few slides will be talking about the solutioning aspect. One thing we realized was land and other resources are huge capital intensive. We try to keep ourselves capital light. So where we try to see we need to become more like a conduit for the villagers who are actually doing farming, cow protection. I from a California, if I go to India and then have a long shikha and then I can't do cow protection by myself. I don't even know what the cows eat, how much it eats, etc. So, but what we thought was the best we can do is figure out where the gaps are and get the right team together and start a program by which we can solve the gaps. That's what we try to do as part of this initiative. Prabhu, and this is actually, go back, it's very important. So we met this villager, and he said, our farming is gone, our children have left, our cows have no pastures, our forests are cleared, what is left for us? This is a state of the dying Vedic civilization right now, and it needs some help. Yeah, Prabhu, go next. What we tried to do as part of the solutioning was we divided the state into city clusters, and each city clusters we divided into villages. You can see what we have tried to do as a very systematic approach. And each of the village, if you can see, there's a temple. So we ensured that the temple priest is aligned with us. There's a library, there's a school, there are villagers. So we tapped into all the ecosystem, and the leader of that is the Sarpanch. So we try to ensure that the Sarpanch becomes a Krishna conscious devotee or a favorable person. So the person on the right which you see with me is the Sarpanch of Balbamora village. His name is Narenji, and he is very favorable. What you see behind is a 20 acres pond. You see it could be more deeply, it can be deepened, banks can be solidified. And if the water stays for 12 months, grasses can be more and cows can have grazing there. Please go to the next slide, Prabhu. So what we tried as a pilot was we chose 45 villages, 65 villages out of 3 cities, where we were, while we were doing distributing the books, we tried to connect with the villagers, do some programs and educate them as to how they can maintain their cows well. They can create some cooperative society among themselves, and then how they can reduce the cost of maintaining the cows and still get back to the original way of the cow manure, the cow urine helps in fertilizing the fields and different things. I'm going a little fast because I want to have Q&A, and I also want to discuss that there is not only in India, there's a lot of progress which is happening in the United States also, in where I come from, Silicon Valley. If time permits, I'll show 2 projects if we have time. Yeah, Prabhu, go next. So this is how, when we say we are trying to save the village, we are taking a 3 approach. First is save what is remaining, where there is still some light, correct? And then these are things like ancestral crafts, cowherd tradition, temple sevaks, panchayat authority. We try to give them support, yeah, in terms of governance, in terms of support, what they need. Suppose a temple, we help them with a good pujari who knows how to do sevas in the deities. We help them with Bhagavatam, we help them with Bhagavad Gitas. And then what we are trying to strengthen is one of the biggest problem is when the produce is there, the farmers don't get the right price. How do we connect the farmers so that they get a good price for what they deserve? This is a big problem. So you help with your education on connecting the dots for them. Create some IT systems, very simple, because every farmer have now a smartphone in India. Creating a independent infrastructure for them. One thing I can tell you that I live in Pune, which is a city, and I've been preaching there for 7 years. I have 2 people chanting 16 rounds, after 7 years of preaching there. And in this village, Balbamura, where we started, my partner, Vrindavan Chand Prabhu, does most of the preaching there. But whenever I go, I see 60 devotees in less than 1.5 years, chanting 16 rounds, where all communities and classes of people come together for the program. It's a sight to see. I'm sure if Srila Prabhupada is there, he will be very happy to see such kinds of progress. The sarpanch, the cobbler, the barber, the farmers all come together with a tilak in hand, well shaved, very nice programs happening in that place. So I can see the impact those 900 millions we can do if we put right energy, not only in India, but I'll come and connect with the West also. Correct? And then how this whole place gets sanctified is because Krishna, as many people have said, seniors have said, there's a lot of zeros, but there's a missing one. Correct? So this is how when we, in the schools and library, we put Srimad Bhagavatam. A lot of sponsorship comes from North America because of Bhadra. We install those books for the donors, and we give, and the whole village, then the elders are talking, and those are not English generally, they are in local language, predominantly Hindi. Then there are discourses happening on Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. The whole village gets into re-spiritualization, what we say. Can go next, Prabhu. And these are some of the changes which we see. Now what you see, that is before, This so good, so many people are walking to have Shri Rukmani Dwarika Dish Darshan. Is it that great? Yeah? Awesome. May Lord send millions more, so all get benefit. Thank you so much for coming in. Please forgive us for inconvenience. We are having some deep topic discussion. Please don't mind. Yeah? So, knowledge and inquiry, because the books are there in the village now, there are questions, rather than, some chit-chat, gup-shup, now the topics of Krishna consciousness has started. When cow protection has become the mainstream, because there are grasses which gets available normally. It has just started, I will say, lot can be done. And then village unity. I can tell you, this is because I took a 6-month sabbatical to visit this, and I found that the domestic violence was directly proportional to the amount of water availability in a certain area. Do you know that? It's a very interesting fact. So if the water is less, there will be small thing and ladaiya, fight at home, yeah? And the biggest brunt is received by the woman of the house, yeah? So what we did as an experiment, added hand pumps, yeah? We found when we added, it takes like 25,000 rupees for a hand pump. The radius around that hand pump, there became like, people became more peaceful, because water is a very important part. Conservation of water and availability of water for the household affairs for a grastas. Yeah? So there are a lot of things, I'm just skipping fast, but there are a lot of benefits which these programs can do. And as I mentioned, villagers come together for Mangal Aarti. There's a small room and more than 60 to 80 villagers come out of, and the number of population is 1,000. So percentage of people in New Dwarka, if you're not coming to Mangal Aarti, please start coming to Mangal Aarti. It's very important, yeah. Please move forward. And what we are saying is this, so now this we have in that village, this is where I wanted to say, this hill is actually dedicated as a grassland. So what it means is you don't have to buy this. You go to a government and say, we want to convert or restore this hill to a grassland, because it's deemed as a grassland. We got a permit to not own it, but to use it for next 20, 50 years. Yeah? And now we are cleaning. There's a wild bush called lantana, which has infested that. It grows very fast, and it does not allow grasses to grow. So what we are doing is taking 50 acres at a time, removing the lantana and putting Indian breed grasses and international grasses so that the cows get natural feed. And what we are trying to also put together is a governance. What happens is, if the cow goes every day to the same place, overgrazing kills the grass. So you create a governance structure that, okay, everyone's cow will go Monday on this part, Tuesday on this part, and by the third day, the cows are they are much intelligent than us, yeah, more loving than us, yeah. They know, they don't remove the root, they remove the top only. So by the third and fourth day, so you instill the governance around it. And what you do is, you are not there generally, correct? So you create a committee. There's a whole setup video which or a deck which I have on how to manage commons. This is a multi-billion dollar where you don't have to actually invest money. This are government provided infrastructure. You have to just check what is the use permit of that. If it is grassland, be there, put some devotees there, restore that, allow the villagers to get more cows. You help together with them remove lantana, put the ecosystem for putting grasses, create some governance, because they need external people to ensure that things are fine, correct? And then once it grows, you step outside, correct? That's the model which we have tried to do. We want to help the cause, we don't want to hold the assets. That's the difference which we have from outside various other projects. We are asset light. We want to be just educating the villagers, the people who actually are doing it. We have seen many people from Seattle, from US going in, they struggle in the farm because we are not used to doing it. You can try, like Prabhu, the nuclear engineer, was able to do. You should do it definitely, yeah. But I'm saying better is to leverage 900 million people who are already there in the farm. So this is what we are trying to do. Out of the 750 acres, we are trying to convert into 12 forests of Vrindavan. Now the land is yours. You can do anything, So we are creating kunds because water has to be created for conservation. So we are leveraging and creating it like a mini Govardhan. I seek your blessing. Hopefully in next 3 to 5 years, this place can be converted into, there are already 150 cows in a Goshala. And then we can have things like where 2 days you stay and have an experience. And then you can love cows, you can understand, it's not difficult, yeah. So there's just an introduction for the city people to know how a village life seems like, yeah. Right now, we don't have those infrastructure. I think if you go to Govardhan Eco Village, you get a glimpse of that. But we want to make it more available. So what we are looking into is Srila Prabhupada. This is the statement for Srimati Radharani. I'll read it for you. Of all devotees, this Govardhan hill is the best. He supplies Krishna and Balram, along with their calves, cows, and cowherd friends, with all kinds of necessities. And this is the statement of Srimati Radharani. These hills, such kinds of villages are built to provide naturally all kinds of necessities for humankind. Yeah, it will help the Gopalas. Who are the Gopals? The villagers who are living. Yeah, the Gopis and the owners of the land becomes the Gopal. The forest is what you actually you help building the trees and the grasslands, and the pilgrimage, because then you can, if you can give a spiritual pilgrimage kind of a thing, you have Daloramas created, you have kundas created, you create walking trails, japa trails, because the land is available. You need to just ensure it becomes a beautiful, say, 700 acres of property. I've been getting signs to stop, just the last slide, and then I'll be done. Yeah. So what ADF does is, we have been there for around 3 years. We have got all necessary permits for non-profit. We have been doing the systematic Gram Vidya Dan, distributing Shrimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, etc. What we are still right now doing is taking step by step on the 700 acres of land which we have, removing lantana and helping the farmers. So far, last year, the farmers were able to save more than 3 crores from the small pocket of hill which we restored. And it looks very promising. The villagers are very excited. They like to work. In fact, last year Vaisheshika Prabhu came to our home, and the Sarpanch came from all the way from Balbamura to meet Vaisheshika Prabhu and take his blessing. So I believe this can be a very good role model for most of the devotees, where you don't have to buy millions of dollars on farmlands. We can check it out even in North America if there are strategies like this, and then try to take the learnings and implement it here. We can end it here. What we are seeking is your blessings and prayers. These are very difficult projects, as I mentioned. You can't succeed in 1 week, 2 weeks. It's not like a book you hand it over to Krishna book and then collected $20 and you're done. No, these are real. Look at, you sow a seed, a year or 6 months, you don't even see a seedling coming out. So this test your patient. It takes time for the seedling to rupture, come out of the land, then the tree, the stem to nourish, then the fruits and flowers come little later. So this is a long haul, my dear friends. Don't be impatient, but the success will be here. That's the guarantee Srila Prabhupada has given. We are very confident that this is going to help with all this AI taking the jobs. Many people will get unemployed. So if we have our farms ready, we will provide free food to them as well as they can serve in our farms. There are more slides, but I will stop here. And sorry if the presentation was lengthy. There's so much to talk about, but the time is less. I'll seek forgiveness. And if I've said anything wrong, again, I'm not a farmer. I'm part of this non-profit by accident because I was serving a god brother of mine, and his name is Vrindavan Chand Prabhu, and obviously I'm aligned with Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj. So thank you very much for listening to this, and I'm open for any questions, answers. There are 4 projects in Silicon Valley. So one may ask, okay, this about India, what about United States? But the time is not there. But if you want to see, there are happy cows, happy people, lot of content with me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gau Mata ki. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions, I can take one. Otherwise, I can end. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu needs a mic.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I appreciate it. So, the farms that you have here in America, you say there's some in Silicon Valley, or are there some in other places?
4 in Silicon Valley, near Bay Area.
Oh, great. And so on these farms, you're implementing this same kind of program?
So India, if you see, was more of leveraging, that's what completely asset light, correct? And that was another non-profit. Here what we did at ISKCON of Silicon Valley, we decided that instead of temple building farms, devotees can buy farms and we'll support them. So one of the farm is Bhakti Farm, which is done by Yamuna Mother. She takes permission from the board. We say, okay, this is an aligned project. And then the devotees of ISV, they buy milk, they go for retreats. So we support devotees. So she has a 23 acres farm with 3 cows, lot of programs. I have a full deck on that part. There's a second farm which is in San Jose, which is a 250 acres farm. It's a rented property where he pays, Krishna Dharma Prabhu, he pays 15,000 a month as a rent, in a year as a rent. And his monthly expense is close to 2,500 to 3,000. So it is not very expensive. You are talking about 250 acres of land in Silicon Valley as a rent for less than 50,000 in a year. And he gets more than $100,000 a year already. So it's profitable if you look at it on year 1 itself. The third farm is in the Yuba. That's by Raj Srivastava Prabhu. And that's around another 300 acres. He went there little far from ISV because of water. There the water, Yuba Valley water is nicely available. And the fourth is SKP, Sri Krishna Purushottam Prabhu's farm. There he again have around 30-40 cows, very nicely done. So those are four cow projects which are there in Silicon Valley. I invite all of you, if you are coming there, they are not ISV projects, they are ISV aligned projects. So it's possible in here also. Thank you so much. I'll conclude here. If there are questions, please connect with me. I'll happy to answer. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hey, big round of applause. Hare Krishna.